Welcome back. This lecture is going to talk about parameters, passing parameters into functions and returning parameters from functions. And this is a bit of an odd lecture because we've sort of been doing this all along, but I've never really quite made it explicit. And now I'm going to make it explicit and make sure that we understand this passing and returning of parameters into and out of functions. So by way of things that we've already seen, let me just show you what I mean. So this is a little bit of code that I took from one of our earlier animations when we were drawing a circle bouncing up and down. So this is the draw frame function that we wrote, and down here is the animation loop. So you'll recognize that animate Jupiter, and then I'm making call to draw frame up top. And of course, here, and we've been doing this really since day one, are passing parameters or values to another function. So drawing takes parameters as input, 250 by 250, which of course is the width and the height of the canvas, where I want the origin. Draw circle takes x, y, radius, and a fill as parameter. And similarly, animate Jupiter takes parameters, which is the function to be called and the delay. So whenever I call a function inside the parentheses, comma delimited, I send values into a function that function needs to do its job. Yeah, so we've been doing that since day one. Now, we've also, a little bit, have been passing parameters to our own function. So for example, draw frame right there takes as input a single value. Yeah. So you can see here when I call draw frame, I'm calling draw frame with 100. That's going to, of course, specify the y coordinate of the ball. And as I change that y coordinate, I change what this function does. And you can see why this is powerful, because I have this one function, and I instantiate that variable y right there being passed into the function, and then I use it. And so I can keep calling the same function over and over and over again with just a different y, and then it has whatever effect I want it to have. Okay, so we know that we can pass parameters into built-in functions. We know that we can define functions that take parameters. There's one of them. And of course what happens is when you put a value in the parenthesis here, that variable, and we're going to talk some more about this, takes on that value, and then I can use it in the body of the function. Good. So that's passing parameters in, and we've been doing that for a while. You've seen, oh yeah, and of course I just want to emphasize here that every time I call this function, that parameter y takes on a new value. So the first time I call it, y is 100, and then I use that in the function, and then it's done. I call the function again, 90, y takes on the value 90, and then we're done. I call it again, y is 80, takes on the value of 80 in the body, and then it's done. So this is sort of, if you will, almost like a temporary variable, and it's only being used in the body of the function. Good. There's that line I had here called return D, and it's been sort of haunting us a little bit for a while, and I think I told you when I first introduced it that I'll explain later what it really is doing. This is later. We're going to talk about it now. What return D does, it's sort of the opposite of passing a parameter in. It passes a parameter back. So you can think about a function as a box. You can shove stuff into the box, calculations happen, and then something comes out of the box, which is whatever you choose to return. So the return D says send back to the caller that parameter D or whatever it is you want. We're going to talk some more about those returns right now and in the next few lectures. Okay, so we've seen return actually since day one. So let's go ahead and see where we've seen it. Hasn't been explicit, but it's been there. So the function square root takes as input a number and returns a number. How do I know that? Well, when I import from math the function square root, I then can say square root of 4. Yeah. And what happens there is I call square root, I pass it a parameter, which is 4 right there, and into the function somewhere in the inner workings of Python, the library math, is a function that computes square root. How does it do it? I don't care right now. It doesn't matter. And it's going to hand me back a number. It doesn't just compute the square root and print it to the display. I'm not telling you to do. I want the actual value. I want to know what the square root is. And it hands it back to me, and then I assign it to a variable x. That is being done with a return statement. 4 comes in, calculation happens, 2 comes out, and then I get to do what I want with that. I can assign it to a variable, or I can print it, or I can do nothing with it if I choose to do nothing with it. The plus operator is the same way. It just is syntactically slightly different. So it takes as input 2 parameters, 8 and 12. It does a calculation, sums them, and then hands that value back to me, and I can assign it to a variable or print it. Now the difference here is that the plus operator is not written like a standard function call. It's written like this, but it's a function. This is just syntactically because we are more comfortable writing simple arithmetic expressions this way, but it's a function call. 2 values in, 1 value out. You do what you want with that. You can add it to something else, you can assign it to a variable, or you can print it. Not just with numbers, of course. The length operator takes as input a single parameter string, and it hands you back a number, which is the number of characters in the string. Now, of course, when you are getting a value back, you have the choice what you want to do with that. So in these cases, I assigned it to a variable or printed it. I printed it. But I can also use it in more complex expressions. So for example, I can take the number 8.485, that's as input to a function called int. Int converts a floating point number into an integer. And then I take the output of that, which is returned to me, and I use that as input into the plus operator. Right? So we can do this. It's sort of iteratively, right? So I get to choose what I want to do with that return value. Yep. And so here again, 72 is going into the square root function. So 72 is the input to square root. Out comes the square root of 72, which is the input into the integer operator. The output of that is the input into the 12 operator, the plus operator, and then the output of the return of the plus operator is what goes into the print statement. Okay? So implicit, and we've done all of this before, so implicit here is this notion of passing values in, computation happens, values come back, and then I, as the programmer, get to decide what I want to do with those values. Assign them to a variable, shove them into another function, print them, do whatever I want. Okay. So let's make sure we understand the return carefully. So look at this little function here. It's called compute4. So there's my def, compute4. No parameters are being pushed in, so that there's nothing going in. We'll deal with that in a little bit. And then here's my one line of the body of the function compute4, and it returns. That's not a print now. Don't mix up that print statement and that return. Return says hand back to the calling function, whoever called you, a value. What should you return back? Well, I'm going to compute 24 divided by 4 minus 2. So 6 minus 2 just computes it. And now, instead of printing it, instead of assigning it to a variable, instead of doing anything, I simply hand it back. Okay? Now, my function compute4 has a return statement. Okay? Now, I'm going to call compute4. And I get to decide, as with square root, as with int, as with length, what do I want to do with it? So for example, if I say that x is equal to compute4, this function will get called. Okay. It will return, this function will return a value, 4. That compute4 is now what is going to be on the right-hand side of that assignment operator is the value 4, and that's going to get shoved into x. And then when I print x, of course, I print 4 right there. Now, that's using the returned value of the function compute4 to shove it into a variable. I can use it as part of a calculation. This is essentially becomes synonymous with the number 4. Right? It's as if I had said here x is equal to 24 divided by 4 minus 2, because that is what is being returned. So for example, I can say y is equal to 24 divided by compute4. Okay, so let's make sure we understand this. Simple arithmetic expression, 24 divided by something. What's that something? It's a function call. Please go off and call the function. Something had better be returned because I'm going to try to divide it, and it better be a number. That's somebody else's problem if I don't do the right thing here. 4 comes in here. 24 divided by 4 is 6, of course, and when I print y, I get a 6 right there. I can also directly print compute4. Notice the parentheses there. That's all. Whenever you see those parentheses, for next to the function name, that is a function call. I'm calling the function. It returns something, and then I'm going to print whatever it returns. Okay, good. So of course I just print 4. So when I have a return statement in a function, I get to use that value when I call that function. I can assign it to an operator, I can put it into an arithmetic expression, or I can just print the result. I get to choose what I want to do with that value. All right, so for the next few segments of this lecture, we're going to talk about passing parameters in and getting parameters out, and the difference between doing things like print statements in a function and then doing them afterwards. And you'll see that there are reasons why you want to return things, and there are reasons why you may not want to return things, and we'll go through all the different scenarios. All right, we'll pick it up in a little bit. See you soon.